Most people believe that if a city is amazing, the more time you spend there, the better it will become. And that's exactly where the problem begins. Because there are cities that hit you hard within the first 24 hours. Views, atmosphere, energy, the feeling that you've landed in the right place. But then, something breaks. The second day starts to feel heavy. The crowds become more annoying. The distances, longer. The rhythm, more draining. You start to wonder whether the problem is in you, whether you're tired, whether you're just not in the mood. And the truth is simpler and more uncomfortable. Some cities are not designed to be experienced for long. They are concentrated, intense, perfect for a short hit, but exhausting if you stay longer. In this video, we won't talk about bad cities. We'll talk about cities that are incredible for exactly 2 days. Not because they aren't good, but because people expect something from them that they never promised. And here comes the most important clarification. The problem is not in the cities. The problem is in the expectations we enter them with. Because most people don't choose a city based on what it's like to live in it, but on how it looks at first glance. And that leads us directly to the first phase. What does 2-day city mean? When we say 2-day city, we are not talking about a place that is small, boring, or limited. We are talking about a city that hits very hard in a short time and then starts working against you. These are cities with an extremely dense concentration of views, atmosphere, and emotion. On the very first day, you get the wow effect. On the second, you feel like you've seen the most important things. And after that, the pace starts to weigh on you. Not because there is nothing more to see, but because the city is not designed for a slow, sustainable stay. A 2-day city is a place where distances are small but dense. Every walk is visually intense. Stimuli are constant. Noise, people, movement. The atmosphere is more of a spectacle than a background for life. These cities don't give you space to mentally settle. They demand your attention all the time. And here comes the mistake most people make. They treat them as a base. They stay 4, 5, 6 days and start wondering why it's not as pleasant as they expected. The truth is simple. Some cities are meant to be experienced, not inhabited. And that's exactly why in the next phase, we'll see why these places work perfectly for 48 hours. And why after that, the magic starts to break if you don't know what you're doing. When the city works against you, not for you. On the first day, everything seems easy. The city carries you. You walk a lot, you see a lot. You don't feel the fatigue because everything is new. But on the second day, you begin to notice something strange. It's not more interesting, it's harder. The same streets no longer bring surprise. The same noise is no longer atmosphere, but a background that tires you out. This is not accidental. There are cities designed for short, intense contact. They shine in the first 24 to 48 hours because they operate on the principle of stimulation. Lots of people, lots of movement, lots of visual and auditory noise. That's exactly what makes them exciting, but also exhausting. On the second day, you start paying the price. Distances no longer feel like a walk. Crowds are no longer a part of the experience. Every movement requires effort. Logistics, waiting, orientation, and if the city doesn't have natural zones for slowing down, parks, waterfronts, quiet neighborhoods, a rhythm outside the center, you begin to feel like you're in survival mode, not travel mode. Here, people often think the problem is in them. I'm tired, we overdid it, maybe it's just not my day. But in reality, the problem is in the design of the city itself. Some places are not made to be lived, but to be seen. They work wonderfully for a short time, then they start taking more than they give. At this moment comes the next confusion, because instead of admitting that the city is strong but short, you begin searching for more. More neighborhoods, more landmarks, more points on the map. And without realizing it, you step into the third trap. You try to squeeze a place that by nature is not designed for a long stay. Cities that are perfect for exactly 2 days. The reason for this video is already clear. Cities that are not made to unfold slowly, but to hit you with atmosphere, give you a concentrated experience, and end exactly before you grow tired of them. That doesn't make them shallow. It makes them honest. Venice is the classic example. The first day is magic: canals, light, sound, the feeling that you've stepped into another world. On the second day, you begin to see the structure, feel the limitations, understand how the city functions. After that, the experience doesn't become deeper, but more repetitive. Not because Venice lacks substance, but because all its power is in the atmosphere, not in the variety. It is a masterpiece, but not a novel with 10 chapters. Rather, a powerful story of 2. Marrakesh works in a different way, but with the same result. The first day is sensory chaos. Colors, noise, smells, markets. On the second day, you begin to distinguish the rhythm and navigate better. After that, however, the intensity does not transform into depth, but into fatigue if you don't have a specific goal or context. Marrakesh is a powerful concentrate. Overdo it, and the taste becomes heavy. 2 days are the balance between wow and enough. And on the other side of the world, we have Singapore, a city that is the complete opposite of chaos. Here, everything is organized, clear, and efficient. In 2 days, you see the skyline, the neighborhoods, the food, the green spaces, you feel the culture. After that, there are no secrets left to unlock. Singapore hides nothing. It shows everything directly. And that is exactly why 2 days are the optimum. Not because there is nothing to do, but because the city is designed to be understood quickly. Las Vegas, if there is a city in the world that objectively works best for exactly 48 hours, it is Las Vegas. The first day is a hit. Lights, scale, shows, the feeling that you are inside a set. The second day is the climax: hotels, casinos, spectacle, rooftop, nightlife. After that, the effect starts repeating, not because there is nothing to do, but because the city is designed to oversaturate you quickly. There are no neighborhoods you unlock over time. There is no slow cultural layer. There is no everyday life you begin to feel on day 4 to 5. Las Vegas is a concentrated experience, not a process. The longer you stay, the more clearly you see the mechanics behind the magic, and it loses strength. And most importantly, if you plan it for 2 days, the experience is legendary. If you plan it for 5 days, you start wondering, what am I doing here? What these places share is not size, popularity, or price. What they share is that each has a clearly defined peak of experience. After it, you don't receive more value. You simply dilute the effect. And when people remain disappointed, they rarely admit what actually happened, because they expect a given city to keep giving something that by nature is short, strong, and concentrated. This is exactly where the confusion appears. Not because the city isn't good, but because it is approached with the wrong frame. And this becomes even clearer when you compare it with places that work in the opposite way. Cities that look ideal for a weekend, but actually begin to unfold only after several days. If you put them in the 2 days category, you don't use them. You cut them prematurely. The real difference is not in the cities themselves, it is in the type of experience they carry and how long they can sustain it. People often approach all famous places in the same way, as if every destination must deliver equal value day after day, as if the intensity should remain, no matter how long you stay. But in reality, cities operate on completely different principles. Some are built around a strong initial hit. The landscape, the atmosphere, the history, everything happens quickly, concentrated, almost all at once. These places don't hide a second layer. They show their best face early, and that is precisely their strength. Other cities, however, do not reveal themselves immediately. The first contact is noisy, confusing, even slightly repelling. But over time, they begin to arrange themselves through neighborhoods, daily rhythm, small habits. Istanbul is a good example of this difference. At first glance, it seems just as overwhelming as many 2-day cities. But unlike them, the experience there is not exhausted by a few strong scenes. After the first collision, the real part begins, when you stop chasing landmarks and start moving with the city. And this is exactly where the mismatch comes from. When you expect every city to function the same way, you inevitably use some of them incorrectly. Not because they are not good, but because they are not intended for that type of stay. This leads to the next logical step: how people who travel smart use exactly these cities in a way that extracts the maximum without fatigue, without disappointment, and without the feeling that something wasn't right. How smart travelers use these cities. Smart travelers don't ask, "How many days can I stay here?" They ask, "What exactly does this city work best for?" Instead of treating a 2-day city as a main base, they use it tactically, as a concentrated episode within a larger journey. They stay exactly as long as the city can give without starting to take away. One full day for the intense experience, one slower day for details, atmosphere, and feeling. And then they leave on time. These people don't try to squeeze the place. They accept that the limitation is part of the charm. They choose accommodation in the right area so they don't waste energy on movement. They plan little, but meaningfully. One key walk, one strong experience, one evening without a plan. They leave room simply to sit, watch, feel the rhythm without rushing to the next point. And most importantly, they don't try to turn these cities into something they are not. They don't search for routine where there is spectacle. They don't search for peace where there is constant impulse. That's why they leave with the clear feeling that they received the best from the place, not with the sense that they stayed too long and spoiled the experience. This way of thinking leads directly to the final conclusion, the real takeaway. Trips are ruined not when you choose the wrong place, but when you stay past the moment when the experience has already given its best. As we already understood, there are cities that function as an emotional concentrate. You enter, receive a strong charge, leave with a clear imprint. If you insist on extending that feeling, it doesn't deepen. It starts dissolving. Then intensity turns into noise, details, into repetition. And what was once powerful and memorable gradually loses focus. The real value of a trip is not in how many days you were there, but in whether you gave the city exactly as much time as it could realistically give you. When you begin to perceive cities as experiences with a peak, rather than places that must endure a certain number of days, decisions become clearer, the pace lighter, and memories cleaner. Then travel stops being a marathon and starts becoming what we are actually seeking, a strong, clear, and complete experience. If this video helped you look at travel in a different way, subscribe to the channel. Here, we don't chase numbers and lists. We chase meaning, rhythm, and journeys that are worth it. Write in the comments, which city do you think is perfect for exactly 2 days? And if you are planning your next trip, now you know when to stay and when to leave.